Okay guys, I got a 2008 BMW here, 328i. We're going to do a front brake job. Now, I'm doing the driver's side because there is a wire over here that lets you know that the brakes are low, a sensor wire. And it's not on the passenger side, it's only on the driver's side of this vehicle. So I'm going to do it on this side. And this way, I can just show you the video of how to do the brakes on the front on this side, because everything else will be identical to that side except for installing that wire. I think that makes sense. So the first thing you want to do is open up, this is not your brake reservoir on a Mercedes. Open up this little plastic case here, pop off this cap, and we're just going to let some air get in there just like that. The reason that we do that is because when we're going to push that cylinder back, we're not going to have to bleed these brakes this way. And if you don't get that, you soon will. This way we can do a front brake job on it, rotors and brake pads, and we won't have to bleed the brakes. So let's get that tire off. Oh baby, she's wore down. So we got the tire off. Oh baby. Now that one doesn't even, you can't even turn that one, so that shoe's gone. So here's a couple tools we're gonna need. Looks like backside of that caliper, we're going to need a 7mm Allen. We're gonna need an 18mm ratchet wrench. And what, maybe a 6mm Allen as well to get that rotor off. So let's grab our tools and let's get this caliper off first. Okay, so I got our two Allens here. I'm going to grab an extension because the top side of that Allen looks like we're going to need it on a 3/8 drive. 18mm hammer because I like to snug things up, and that's what we're going to use to shove that piston down. Now, there is an actual tool for that piston. If you want to go buy it, you can. I do own one. I own a couple of them. But for this job, you know, I like to go cheap. I like to show people how they can do things themselves. And this is going to work perfectly fine for this car. So, all right. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take this front part of this caliper off. Two Allens on the back side, 7mm. Okay, so we got these two little clips that came out right here of their home. You're going to pop those out. Good thing we did grab the flathead. The flathead is mainly to pull back this caliper when we get it loose, but looks like we needed it. And it looks like we are going to need the extension as well. So let me throw this extension on there, and now we'll get the caliper off. It's loose, and I've actually pulled it back a ways so that it doesn't catch as I'm trying to open. Now we can take this clip off, just reach right in there, give her a twist, and one way or another she'll pop right off. She's going to be a booger now since I only have one hand to work with, right? There we go. Now let's get in here. All these nice little metal flakes. And we'll just pop her back. Tough with one hand. Now the back brake shoe will stay with the caliper. The front will stay with the front part of the caliper. And that's common, that's normal. That back one, let's just leave it on there for now, because it's going to make it easier to press that cylinder down with it in it. We don't take a chance of damaging the actual cylinder on the inside. We can just put that C-clamp right here and press her down. Now, when we do that, we're going to go nice and slow because we don't want to overflow that reservoir, but we want to push that fluid back up to the reservoir, not leaving any air in between. Hence the reason we don't have to bleed the brakes. So let's get that pressed down, and we'll pull off our 18mm here on the front side of the caliper. And that shoe is on there good. She doesn't want to come off. Another screwdriver trick. There we go. Got his life out of that one, didn't he? All right, let's get that down, and let's take our two 18mm off, and of course our 6mm to get that off. Now, if this is rusted up on you and it doesn't want to come off, you don't need to pry it. There is a tool you can buy, and they'll tell you, come buy it. It's like 20 bucks. Just smack it right here with a hammer about 3 times. I guarantee it'll come off. So, all right, press the cylinder down, two 18mm, and Allen. Gonna be tough with one hand. She's just going nice and slow. I'm just like ratcheting it in. Again, I don't want to overflow that. I don't want it to bubble up. I don't want it to spit out. If I crank this fast right now, that thing will literally spit right out. So let me get this down all the way. Press that down all the way. Right in between here is thinner, you see. It was out about to there. So we've literally closed this cylinder here. And now there's room in here for the thickness of the two new shoes and the new rotor, because this is wore down, this has been pressed, you get it, we need to open it up, everything's thicker. So let's get this off of here. Now we can go ahead and set that caliper aside. Oh, wait, we can do the sensor now too. Let me pull that. We're not going to have that sensor on the other side. So if you look at that brake shoe, you can see right there, there's a little area where something goes into it. That would be the sensor. It's going to sit, just like that. Like that. And so on the caliper, it will be sitting just like this on the back side. I'll show you more when we get it on. Let's set that aside. Now on the clips, they're just going to literally pull right out. See that? This side here is just going to pull right out. Now let's open that box up. Now you're going to unsnap the bottom sides of this. There's two of them. Pull it up. It should sit there on that other line. And right there, not the first one, but the second one is the sensor that we want right there. Well, let's pull it out. And now we can simply unplug it from here. See how it twists and pulls? You're going to push down on this little tab right there and just give her a twist. There you go. Actually, that one didn't twist. She just popped straight out. So now if you notice the way that it's ran, the cord is laying in between that sway bar link. I like to leave this lay just like it is and get my new one out and run it through. So I know I'm not going to pinch anything when it's going down the road because the old one didn't pinch anything. So let's go ahead and get the new one set on there. Okay, the new one just snapped right into place. Now I'm going to hit this with some air because dirt likes to get up inside there. So let's dust that off a little bit. Now we'll pop it back up. You can see how I just ran it with the old one. So now I can go ahead and yank the old one out because I know which direction it goes. Now it's just going to flop up here and it's going to go on my master cylinder. I'm sorry, slave cylinder. So let me go ahead and get the dirt out of there and we'll snap that box shut. Just push that back into its home and that back into its home. So now we're ready to go with our new sensor. And we got all the dirt out of there too, because let's face it, number one reason for sensor failure is normally dirt. Okay, 18 millimeter, let's get that off. Okay, so it appears we're gonna get lucky on this one. A lot of times these like to rust up and stick. If that happens, they do sell a tool for 20 bucks you can put in here and pry it off. But here's a better tool, a hammer. Hit it 3 times right there, real hard, like that, and you will pop that loose if it's sealed up like that. Don't worry about buying that tool if you don't need it. It's just like our C-clamp, right? We don't have to buy that special tool. So let's get that off. Boy, the back side of that don't feel too bad. Front side must have got some dirt in it, right? Okay, at this point now, we want to hit this area, and this with brake clean. Brake clean is going to give it a better chance. Again, you've seen the dirt that got inside that one. Dirt, rust, dirt, we don't know, rocks. It's just going to give it a better chance to live longer and last longer if need be. That's our 218s we took off, by the way. So let's get a piece of cardboard here. We can use the old rotor box and spray this down real quick. Okay, so now grab your brake clean and clean away. And we're going to hit that caliper, front side of the caliper, and this entire area. Okay, that brake clean normally dries pretty fast, but if it don't, it is a little cool out here. A little bit of air and she will real fast. So, but we're ready to reassemble. Let's get our rotor on there and line this up. Now, when we set the rotor on there, I like to put that up straight up and down, and I put one lug nut in it. That helps keep it straight so all the holes are lined up. You don't want to put all this together and then get ready to put the tire on. You can't get the damn thread started because that thing's not lined up. So let's get that on. There we go. Now she's nice and lined up. We won't have to worry about those studs. It will be off just a tiny bit. That's why I like to do that stud thing there. So now let's go ahead and throw this back on with our 218 millimeters. Right in there with the clips. Sometimes you have to bend those clips a little bit. They're spread out a little far. And you stick that in, and then the front one you're just going to set in there. And this also has a sensor hole, but we're going to put it on the other one to keep it away from this side. So now we can take that caliper, rotate it on, and put our 2 Allen bolts back in, wherever they might be. Those 7 millimeters. Oh, they're in the caliper. The 2 7 millimeters on. Now you can see that back brake where that clip is. And so this is going to just slide right in, just like that. And she'll snap right into place. There we go. Sensor is on. We are ready for a tire. And then let me tell you one more thing that we're going to do to this. Oh, wait, we got to put this clip in. Let me set this clip on. These things they try to be tricky, but they're really not that hard. Let me show you that real quick. If I can get it out of the bag. So the way you want to do it is you want to hold it on an angle like this and set that one in there first and then pry back. I mean, you can literally see I'm using one hand at this point. Looks like I'm gonna need two, but it goes pretty easily. Trying to get it with one, but all right, so that's in its hole, that's in its hole, that's in its hole. Let's get that pried back. Go. Now she's in her home. So let's get that tire put on, and then I'm going to tell you what we need to do still to avoid bleeding these brakes. There is one more process. Let me find that tire. Okay, so now let's put the cap back on, tighten it up, put your plate or your plastic cover back on. See how the level of that brake fluid went up? Because we pushed it up from the cylinder. So now we don't have to add fluid either. So let's put the cover back on and let's jump inside the car. And now we're going to push the brakes three times down, really loose. It hits the floor. So go nice and easy. It's already starting to get hard. Now she's tight. Let's go ahead and start it up. Now we're going to pump it 3 more times. She got a little bit soft. She's getting harder. That's it. Now she's hard. We got good brakes. So I hope this video helps you out. Please click like, please click subscribe, click on my name underneath this video for all my other how-to videos. And as always, guys, enjoy.